We have some significant NHL news regarding waivers and a trade. Today, the Penguins are putting Tristan Jarry on waivers, a significant move and a signal the direction of the team is not heading the way they'd like. Plus, we have a trade between the Blackhawks and the Winnipeg Jets involving a couple of young players. We'll discuss all the news coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, we have some pretty significant news in the NHL. We have a small trade and some pretty significant news from the NHL Waiver Wire activity. Let's start first with the trade, which we saw between the Chicago Blackhawks and the Winnipeg Jets. This is a smaller deal, but something that could be impactful long term. The Chicago Blackhawks have traded young defenseman Isaac Phillips to the Winnipeg Jets in exchange for Dmitry Kuzmin. So now Phillips, of course, has 56 games of NHL experience. He's like a fourth-year pro. He was a 2020 draft in the 5th round. Obviously, not really been a full-time NHLer, but a decent amount of time spent at the NHL, decent amount of time developing in Rockford at the AHL. And then Kuzmin, for his information here, he was drafted in 2021. He was a third rounder out of Belarus. Hasn't really played in the NHL. Has a split between the East Coast and American Hockey League. So obviously Kuzmin seems like he's a little bit more further away from having a chance to play in the NHL. A little bit less likely to make it if you want to go that route. Phillips, on the other hand, like I said, no guarantee he becomes a regular NHLD, but he is young enough and has enough games under his belt that I think it's a little bit early to judge on that per se, and obviously a little bit more likely that something could work out. I mean, clearly he's seen a decent amount of time. You never know. Obviously, it adds for the depth here for the Winnipeg Jets. So, like I said, a small trade, but nonetheless, an opportunity for Phillips to go to Winnipeg and see if he can't continue to get more NHL time. They do have a lot of defensemen there that probably will play ahead of him, but as they get ready to go into playoff mode here later in the season, he could be somebody longer term that fits. He's also a pending restricted free agent as well, so he's not signed beyond the current season. Now, the big news from the NHL Waiver Wire, we have 2 players on waivers, and one has a significant contract. One is John Ludwig here of Colorado. He's a former Penguin. He's on waivers to go down to the minors for the Avalanche, so we'll see. He's a rugged defenseman. We'll have to wait and see what happens with Ludwig. Tristan Jarry, though, the big news of the day. The Penguins seem to finally hit their breaking point with the goaltender and are ready to cut bait. Now, of course, there's a pretty good chance that Tristan Jarry is not picked up. He still has this year and 2 more years on his contract. I believe it's $5.35 million. This year, for the Penguins, Jarry has appeared in 22 games played, has a 3.26 goals against average, and he's rocking an .886 save percentage. So, not good. The Penguins, they're sitting. They seem to every once in a while have a little bit of a hot streak and kind of climb back into playoff contention, but they lost their last game, and certainly seems like things are trending in a new direction. I mean, they've got some injuries now. They're giving this feels like to me like they're giving up on Jarry. Malkin's on IR. I know Crosby got hurt last night, but I didn't see the whole game, if I'm not mistaken. I believe he came back, but he did get a cross-check in the back and left the game for a while. Things are kind of mounting here. So, they find themselves a few points out of the playoffs right now, but they also have more games played. So it's just not good. I honestly don't think the Penguins can make the playoffs this year, which I believe will make 3 consecutive seasons now. Kyle Dubas has his work cut out for him. And I know when Dubas first got to Pittsburgh, it was expected Tristan Jarry probably wasn't coming back. He was a UFA goaltender that many thought the Penguins were going to let go. And then they checked the market. They tried to see if they could sign somebody else. I'm not sure what happened. All of a sudden, Tristan Jarry is signing a 5-year extension. I think most of us, I'm not sure why the Penguins didn't see this. I know as fans, and you talk around, different fan bases, different people around the league, a lot of people thought that was a bad deal from the get-go. Tristan Jarry has struggled with injuries, and he's struggled with consistency. He is a good goaltender. He has lots of talent. You got to remember, even the guys in the NHL that struggle are phenomenal hockey players, and they've accomplished a lot to get where they are. But it's just not At this level, the highest level you can go, Tristan Jarry does not seem to be cut out for being a starting goaltender. And now, could he maybe find his game a little bit, get revamped, and maybe be a more, solid backup or something? That might be possible. Obviously, lighter workload, different team, new environment. Maybe things change for Jarry. It's kind of difficult to say, but he's had his ups and downs. Now, he's had some good times too, right? Which is why every once in a while he kind of, sucks them back in and says, okay, maybe we believe in this guy. But then usually the injuries or the inconsistencies come back, and well, here we are. Like I said, the Penguins, in my opinion, I don't know if they need to completely tear it down, but they do need they do need some more retooling for sure. And I do wonder, what's going to happen here with some of these guys. Now, Tristan Jarry, like I said, with his contract and his poor play, probably not getting picked up. So what likely happens if he clears, he can be reassigned to the minor leagues. They can get just shy of $1.1 million in salary cap relief, but he's still going to count on our cap for over $4 million. So it's still going to hurt and really kind of prevent them from making another move. I suspect they'll probably, obviously go with Nedeljkovic and one of their young goalies from Wilkes-Barre, maybe Blomqvist, see if they can do a better job. And we will see what happens, I guess. So let me know your thoughts. Does Tristan Jarry have any chance of getting picked up? Is his time in Pittsburgh done? I would suggest he's definitely heading to the minors, most likely. It wouldn't be shocking if maybe this offseason, assuming that he's still a Penguin, that maybe he gets bought out. Or if maybe they can find a team to trade him to who might be able to be in a better spot to buy him out and get some extra assets for doing so. There's not a lot of extra assets kicking around in Pittsburgh, though. Kyle Dubas has been trying to accumulate some more, draft picks and prospects, because that cupboard was pretty bare from all those years of trying to go for it and win after year after year after year. So we will see what happens. Let me know what you think on this news in the comments. We'll discuss further. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and stick around. We'll keep you up to date with all the news, rumors, and analysis of all 32 NHL teams. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.